Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to send ATG certificate via email for NGO donations received via Razorpay. So are you an NGO owner and are you tired of sending ATG certificates to all of your donors manually? Then this automation is for you. With the help of this automation, whenever you're going to receive a donation from your donor with the help of Razorpay, automatically an ATG certificate is going to be created with the help of Google Docs for all of your donors who have done the payment. As we've already created a template for ATG certificate with the help of Google Docs and with the help of Google Drive, we are going to receive a PDF file link and we are going to send an email to all of our donors who have done the payment with the help of Razorpay with the attachment of the PDF format of ATG certificate. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to create an automation between all of these applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you want to learn how to do this automation, then let me take you all to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to send ATG certificates via email whenever a donation is done for our NGO via Razorpay. So here my objective is that whenever a payment is done with the help of Razorpay for the donation of my NGO, automatically an ATG certificate should be created for my donor in my Google Docs, as we have already created a template of ATG certificate in our Google Docs, and a document is going to be created with the help of this template, and it should be forwarded to my donor, as you can see, as an email on their Gmail account with the attachment of the PDF format of the ATG certificate, which is having all the details of the donor, as you can see right over here. For that, what we have to do is we have to create an automation with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign in to our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign in to my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see all Pabbly apps window in front of you, in which you can see 5 applications of Pabbly, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on Access Now. Then you can see on a new tab, Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, we have to click on this top right corner button that is right over here that says Create Workflow. Then a new dialog box is going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a workflow name. So I'm going to give a name to my workflow as Send ATG certificate via email for NGO donations received via Razorpay. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. You can give a name to your workflow according to your requirement. After that, it is asking for us to select a folder. On the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, what we have to do is we have to click on this drop down arrow right over here. So these are the folders that I've created in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. As I want to save this workflow in Gmail's automation folder, I'm going to select the folder. After that, I'm going to click on Create in order to create a workflow. Then you can see a new workflow is created in the name of Send ATG certificate for NGO donations received via Razorpay, and there are 2 windows in front of you. One says Trigger, another says Action. Trigger and Action are the 2 most important steps of our automation process, because our process depends on these 2 steps. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means our action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. Firstly, we're going to set up our trigger step. For that, we have to click on this arrow right over here. It is asking for us to choose our trigger application. Our trigger application is going to be Razorpay. So I'm going to select my trigger application as Razorpay, and my trigger event is going to be payment captured, because we want that whenever a new payment is done with the help of Razorpay, automatically an ATG certificate should be created for the donor. For that, what we have to do is we have selected our trigger application as Razorpay and trigger event as payment captured, so that whenever a new payment is done, automatically Pabbly Connect is going to capture the response. After that, over here you can see Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. With the help of this unique webhook URL, we are going to connect Razorpay with Pabbly Connect. For that, I'm going to copy this unique webhook URL from here. and we are going to follow the steps given here below to connect Razorpay with Pabbly Connect. Firstly, we have to open our Razorpay account. As you can see, this is my Razorpay account right over here, and you can see over here it is saying that you are in test mode. I am running my Razorpay account in test mode, and the payments that we are going to do with the help of Razorpay are also test payments. So firstly, we are going to connect my Razorpay account with Pabbly Connect. For that, what we have to do is over here on the left side of my screen, you can see over here it says developers. We are going to click over here. Then from the API in webhooks, we are going to select webhooks right over here. Then the top right corner, you can see it says add new webhook. We are going to select add new webhook right over here. It is asking for the webhook URL. I am going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us right over here. Then for the active events over here in our Pabbly Connect, if you're going to see the steps given here below, for the active events over here, it says we have to select payment capture right over here from our active events section. So in my Razorpay account, for the active events, we're going to select payment capture right over here because we want that whenever a payment is done, automatically payment capture should be forwarded on our Pabbly Connect account. After filling all the details, I'm going to click on create webhook. As you can see right over here, it says webhook saved successfully. So now I'm going to open my Pabbly Connect, and over here it is saying waiting for webhook response. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do a test payment with the help of our Razorpay account. So I'm going to open my Razorpay account, that is right over here. From the left side of my screen, I'm going to select payment pages right over here. And for my NGO, I have created a payment page. As you can see, this is the payment page, that is Humanity Across Borders, that is right over here. So I'm going to copy this link from here, and I'm going to open this link in a new tab. So as you can see, this is the payment page that I've created with the help of Razorpay in the name of Humanity Across Borders. And with the help of this page, all of my donors are going to do the donation for NGO. So we are going to fill in all the details, and as you can see over here, it says that you are in test mode, and we are going to do test payment with the help of this page. So I'm going to do my test payment. For the donation right over here, I'm going to select it as donation for NGO. For the amount over here, I'm going to write it as 15,000. For the full name over here, I'm going to write it as test user. For the email, I'm going to write it as testuser@pabblytuts.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to write in a dummy mobile number. So after filling all the details, I'm going to click on pay right over here. It is asking for the method of payment. I'm going to select it as card. Over here, it is asking for the card number, and as we are doing a test payment, I'm going to write in a dummy card number. For the expiry, I'm going to write in a dummy expiry. For the card holder's name, I'm going to write it as test user. For the CVV, I'm going to write in a dummy CVV. After filling all the details, I'm going to click on pay now. Next, it is asking for the OTP. So I'm going to write in a dummy OTP, and then I'm going to click on submit. Over here, as you can see, it says payment is successful. That means a test payment that we have done right now is successful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Pabbly Connect account, and I'm going to check whether the payment that we have done with the help of Razorpay is captured by Pabbly Connect or not. For that, I'm going to open my Pabbly Connect account. And yes, as you can see over here, response is captured in our Pabbly Connect account. So if I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to tally the response. For the full name as test user, for the email as testuser@pabblytuts.com, for the donation as donation for NGO, method as card right over here, for the phone number, dummy mobile number, and all the other details. So this means that we successfully created a connection between Razorpay and Pabbly Connect. After setting up a trigger step, as we want that whenever a payment is done with the help of Razorpay, automatically an ATG donor certificate should be created for the donor. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to set up our action step by clicking on this arrow right over here, and for the action application, we are going to select it as Google Docs. Because we have selected our action application as Google Docs because I have created a template for ATG certificate in my Google Docs, and with the help of this template, I want to create documents of ATG certificate for all of my donors. So for over here, for the action event, I'm going to select it as create document from template. After selecting our action application and the action event, I'm going to click on connect right over here. Then a new window is going to appear in front of you, on which I'm going to click on add new connection. But if you have an existing connection, you can choose this option. After that, it is saying sign in with Google. I'm going to click on it. Then a new window is going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a permission. I'm going to click on allow as is a safe process, and my data is perfectly safe with Pabbly Connect. As you can see that we successfully authorized Google Docs with Pabbly Connect. After connecting Google Docs with Pabbly Connect, it is asking for the template document. Over here, we're going to select the template that we have created with the help of Google Docs, that is ATG certificate template. So for the template document over here, I'm going to select it as ATG certificate template because I want to create document with the help of this template. Next, it is asking for the new document's name. Whenever a document is going to be created with the template that we have created, what will be the name of that document? I want the name of my document to start with my donor's name. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from previous steps. So we're going to insert the data from a previous step. As you can see, this was the previous step of our automation process, that was Razorpay payment captured. I'm going to click on this arrow right over here, and this was the response that was captured in our previous step. As I want that the new document's name should always start with my donor's name, so I'm going to map the data for the donor's name right over here. As I map the data right over here, the data has now become dynamic. That means every time a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the data right over here is going to be updated according to the new response. After that, I want it as dash ATG certificate. So this means that whenever a new document is going to be created, it will always start with my donor's name dash ATG certificate. After that, it is asking for the new document's location. In my Google Drive, I have created a folder in the name of ATG certificates of donors, and I want that whenever a document is going to be created with the help of this template, automatically all the documents should be saved in that folder. So for the document's location, I'm going to select it as ATG certificates of donors. After that, it is asking for the date, donor name, donor email, donor code, amount, and all the other details. So if I'm going to take you back to the template that I've created, over here you can see in front of some values, and in the end of those values you can see there are two curly brackets. So these are the variables right over here, and I want that whenever a new payment is done with the help of Razorpay, automatically in place of these variables, the values of the details of the payment that was done with the help of Razorpay should be entered. For that, I've created these variables, and in my Pabbly Connect you can see these are the variables that I've created. Now in place of these variables, as I want the values of the payment that is done with the help of Razorpay, so what we are going to do is we are going to map the data again. Firstly, it is asking for the date, so we're going to map the data for the date right over here from a previous step. So if I'm going to scroll down over here, you can see it is saying created add, and over here we have received the date in a timestamp format. So now what we are going to do is we have to convert this timestamp format into a normal format of date. For that, what we're going to do is we're going to add our action step by clicking on this plus button right over here, and for the action application we are going to select it as date and time formatter. So I'm going to select date time formatter. This is an amazing feature by Pabbly, that is date time formatter. Over here for the action event, I'm going to select it as format date with time zone, and then I'm going to click on connect right over here. It is asking for which date do we want to change. So over here we're going to map the data for the date that we have received in a Razorpay response. So I'm going to map the data for the date that we have received in a timestamp format. I'm going to map the data, and over here next it is asking from format. So over here I'm going to select the format that we have received is in a timestamp format. So I'm going to select from format as timestamp. Next it is asking for the to format, and I want in a normal format right over here. So I'm going to select for the to format as date, month, and year, as you can see right over here. From time zone, I'm going to leave the time zone as it is, that is right over here. And for the to time zone, I'm going to select it as Asia, Kolkata right over here. And after filling all the details, I'm going to click on save and send test request. Over here we have received a response, and also we have received a date in a normal format, that is right over here. So now in my Google Docs right over here, for the date what we are going to do is we are going to map the data from the response that we have received in a date and time formatter. So I'm going to map the data of the date that we have received right over here. As I map the data right over here, the data has now become dynamic. That means every time a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the data right over here is going to be updated. Next it is asking for the donor's name, so we're going to map the data for the donor's name right over here. So I'm going to map the data from my Razorpay response as I mapped the data. Next it is asking for the donor email. I'm going to map the data again. I'm going to map the data. For the donor code over here, I'm going to map the data for the order ID that we have received. So I'm going to map the data for the order ID right over here. Next, it is asking for the amount. So we're going to map the data for the amount right over here. As you can see for the amount right over here, as we have done a payment for 15,000 right over here, but in our Razorpay response over here, we have received 15,000 with 2 extra zeros right over here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add another action step in this workflow. And for the action application, we are going to select it as number formatter by Pabbly. And for the action event, we are going to select it as perform math operation. Because what we are going to do is, as we have received the amount with 2 extra zeros, we are going to divide the amount with 100, so that whenever a new amount is going to be received in the response of this number formatter, it will not have the extra zeros in the end of the amount. So I'm going to click on connect right over here. Then for the numbers over here, I'm going to map the data for the amount that we have received. I'm going to map the data for the amount right over here. And over here in the help desk, you can see an example is given that how we have to enter the values. Over here, if you want to do any operations, we have to write over here as comma. And as we want to divide this amount with 100, so I'm going to write over here as comma 100. As we want to divide these two values, I'm going to select my operation as divide. After that, I'm going to click on save and send test request. And you can see a response is received, and in place of result, we have received an amount that was donated by the donor. So every time a new amount is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the amount right over here is not going to have the zeros in the end of the value. So now over here for the amount, I'm going to map the data that we have received in a number formatter by Pabbly. So after that, it is asking for the receipt number. Over here, I'm going to map the data for the order ID as well. I'm going to map the data. For the receipt date, we're going to map the data from the date that we have received in our date and time formatter. For mode of payment, we're going to map the data from our Razorpay step. Over here, you can see for the method over here it says card. So I'm going to map the data. Lastly, it is asking for the reference number. Over here, I'm going to REZ/ with the ID right over here. So this is the reference number that I have created according to my requirement. But if you want, you can create your own reference number according to your requirement. After filling all the details, I'm going to click on save and send test request. As you can see right over here, we have received a response, and over here in the response, we have also received a document ID. So this response that we have received is a positive response. Now I'm going to open my Google Drive folder, and I'm going to check whether a new document is created with the help of the template that we have created of ATG certificate or not. For that, I'm going to open my Google Drive folder, and yes, as you can see right over here, a new document is created of ATG certificate. I'm going to open this document right over here. For the name, it says test user ATG certificate, and this is the ATG certificate for test user. For the name over here as test user, email as testuser@pabblytunes.com. For the donor code over here, the order ID. For the date as 02/04/2024, dear test user right over here. Over here for the receipt number, a number, date as the date, mode of payment as card, reference number, and for the amount as 15,000. And over here also we have received an amount as 15,000. So this means that we successfully created a document with the help of the template that we have created in our Google Docs. Now, as you can see on the document that we have created, on the top right corner over here, you can see it says private to only me. And as I want to send this ATG certificate to all of my donors with the help of Gmail, so what we are going to do is we are going to make this document accessible to everyone. For that, what we have to do is in our automation process that we are creating in this workflow, we are going to add another action step by clicking on this plus button right over here. And now for our action application, I'm going to select it as Google Drive. And for the action event, we're going to select it as share a file with anyone, because we want to make this file that we have created right now accessible to everyone. That's why we're going to select our action event as share a file with anyone. After that, I'm going to click on connect in order to connect Google Drive with Pabbly Connect. Then a new window is going to appear in front of you. And as I have the existing connection, I'm going to select this option. But if you want, you can add a new connection. After that, I'm going to click on save right over here. After connecting Google Drive with Pabbly Connect, you can see it is asking for the file ID. If I'm going to take you back to my previous step right over here, in the response, if I'm going to scroll down, we have received a response, and in the response, we have also received a document ID. So this ID right over here is the ID of the document that is created, that is right over here. So in place of file ID in the Google Drive response, what we are going to do is we are going to map the data of the document ID that we have received in our previous step. For mapping, we are going to click on this bracket right over here. We're going to erase the existing data from here, and as we are going to map the data from our previous step, I'm going to click right over here, and we're going to map the data from our Google Docs create document from template step. This is the response that was captured in our previous step, and we're going to map the data for the document ID that we have received. This means that whenever a new document is going to be created with the help of Google Docs, automatically that document is going to be accessible to everyone. After that, I'm going to click on save and send test request. As you can see, we have received a response, and over here it says anyone with the link. So if I'm going to take you back to the document right over here, now it is saying on the top right corner, anyone with the link. That means anyone can have the access of this file with the help of a link. And in the response that we have received in a Google Drive step, over here you can see Pabbly Connect has provided us with multiple links, and these are the links of the document that we have created. And as we are going to send the document in PDF format, we're going to use this link right over here. And so as we have created a document with the help of template, and now we want to send an email to all of our donors with the help of Gmail, so we're going to add another action step by clicking on this plus button right over here. And for our action application, I'm going to select it as Gmail. And for the action event, we're going to select it as send email. After that, I'm going to click on connect. As you can see over here, a new window is going to appear. I'm going to click on add new connection. Then we're going to click on connect with Gmail. After that, you can see over here it is asking for a permission. I'm going to click on allow as this is a safe process and my data is perfectly safe with Pabbly Connect. Over here, you can see we successfully authorized Gmail with Pabbly Connect. Next, it is asking for the recipient email address. Over here, we're going to map the data for the email on which we want to forward the ATG certificate to. Over here, we're going to map the data for our donor's email address. For that, we're going to click right over here. As we have received the email of our donor in our Razorpay step, I'm going to map the data for the email that we have received of our donor. After that, it is asking for the CC and the BCC. We're going to skip this part. For the sender's name over here, I'm going to write it as Humanity Across Borders. So this is what I want to send as my sender's name because this is the name of my NGO. Then for the email subject, I'm going to write it as Humanity Across Borders ATG certificate. So this is the email subject that is going to be forwarded to my donor. Next, it is asking for the reply to. I'm going to skip this part. For the email content type, I'm going to select it as plain. And for the email content, I'm going to write it as, and this is the email content that I've written. It should start as hello. Over here, we're going to map the data for the donor's name. As I want, the donor's name should come next to hello. Then it says greetings of the day. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to express my deepest gratitude on behalf of Humanities Across Borders NGO for your incredibly generous donation. Your support means the world to us and plays a pivotal role in helping us achieve our mission. Your contribution will directly impact the lives of countless individuals in need, empowering us to continue our efforts. We understand that your decision to donate is a reflection of your compassion and commitment to making a positive difference in the world. Your kindness not only inspires us, but also gives hope to those who we serve. As a token of appreciation, we would like to give you an ATG donation certificate which is attached to this mail. Once again, thank you for the bottom of our hearts for your unwavering support. Together, we are transforming lives and building brighter future for all. Thank you, regards, Humanities Across Borders. So this is the email content that I've written. This is the main body of the email. Next, it is asking for the file name. Over here, we're going to write the file name which is going to be attached to this mail. As I want that the name of my file should always start with my donor's name. So I'm going to map the data for my donor's name right over here. After that, as dash ATG certificate.pdf. Over here for the example, it says some file name.pdf on which format are we sending the file. So as I'm going to send the file in PDF format, I've written it as .pdf. So this is the file name right over here. It will always start with my donor's name -ATG certificate.pdf. After that, it is asking for the attachment. Over here, I'm going to map the data for the link that we have received in our previous response, that is Google Drive right over here. And these are the links of the document. And as we want to send a document in PDF format, I'm going to map the data for the PDF format of the link. After that, I'm going to click on save and send test request. And as you can see right over here, we have received a response. So this is a positive response. Over here for the result status, it says send. So now I'm going to open my Gmail account and I'm going to check whether I have received a new email with the attachment of the ATG certificate for the donor and all its details in PDF format or not. For that, I'm going to open my Gmail account. And yes, as you can see right over here, we have received a new email in our Gmail account. For the subject, it says Humanity Across Borders ATG certificate. Hello test user, the content of the email right over here. And it is also having the attachment of the PDF format of ATG certificate for test user. I'm going to open it. For the file name, it says test user ATG certificate.pdf, and this is the ATG certificate for test user, as you can see right over here. It has all the details of our donor, that is name for the donor as test user, email as testuser@pabblytuts.com. For the donor code, a code right over here. For the date right over here. Name as test user again. For the receipt number, the receipt number. For the date over here, method of payment as card, reference number, and for the amount of donation that donor has done. So this means that we successfully created an automation with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another test payment with the help of Razorpay, and I'm going to check whether I have received a new email with the attachment of a PDF form of ATG certificate which is going to have the details of the donor who have done the payment or not. For that, what we're going to do is we're going to do another test payment with the help of Razorpay. So this is the payment page that I've created for my NGO, that is Humanity Across Borders. I'm going to copy this link from here and I'm going to open this link in a new tab. So this is the payment page that I've created, and as we are on a test mode over here, you can see we are going to do a test payment. We are going to fill in all the details of this test payment page. So as you can see that I've filled in all the details for the donation as donation for NGO, for the amount as 50,000, for the full name as dummyuser12, for the email as dummyuser12@pabblytuts.com, for the phone number a dummy mobile number. After filling all the details, I'm going to click on pay right over here. Next, it is asking for the method of payment. I'm going to select it as card. I'm going to fill in the dummy details of the card that we are going to do payment with. For the card number, a dummy card number. For the expiry, a dummy expiry. For the card holder's name, I'm going to write it as dummyuser12. For the CVV, I'm going to write in a dummy CVV. After filling all the details, I'm going to click on pay now. Next, it is asking for the OTP. I'm going to write over here a dummy OTP, and then I'm going to click on submit. As you can see that we have successfully done a payment with the help of Razorpay. After doing the test payment, I'm going to open my Gmail account. Now I'm going to check on my Gmail account whether I have received an email with an attachment of ATG certificate with the details of the donor or not. For that, I'm going to open my Gmail account. And yes, as you can see that I have received an email with an attachment of an ATG certificate in PDF format. Firstly, we're going to check the subject of the email. It says Humanity Across Borders, ATG certificate. It says hello dummy user 12, the content of the email, and I'm going to check my ATG certificate that I've received. For the name of the file, it says dummyuser12 ATG certificate.pdf, and this is the ATG certificate with the details of the donor who have done the payment with the help of Razorpay. For the name as dummyuser12, email as dummyuser12@pabblytuts.com. For the donor code, over here the donor code, the date as 02/04/2024, name as dummyuser12. For the receipt number for date as 02/04/2024, for the method of payment as card, a reference number, and for the amount as 50,000. So this means that we successfully created an automation with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, as an owner of an NGO, I wanted was that whenever a payment is done for the NGO donation with the help of Razorpay, automatically an ATG certificate should be created for the donor who has done the payment, and it should be forwarded to them as an email on their Gmail account. And these were my trigger and action steps of this automation process. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on below if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video. Not just with these applications, you can create automation with the help of Pabbly Connect between multiple applications. If you have any doubts, you can send us email on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can ask your queries on forum.pabbly.com. If you have any queries regarding the pricing of Pabbly Connect, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment down below if you have any questions and doubts, and please share this video, and thank you for watching.